Hello, everyone. Yes, it's me again, Darren Keet, right here today, the 6th of December, 2021. We have a lot coming your way. And again, with me, joining me today is Chad. Chad, how you doing?
Morning, guys. Morning, Pops. Thanks for having me back on.
It's afternoon.
The viewers don't know that. Thought I could get away with that one. But yeah, sorry. I'm not watching the clock today. It's Monday, so long week ahead. Afternoon, everyone.
How's things
What's
been
on the
your
menu?
side?
Good. Had a bit of a sort of a rough weekend. Didn't get much sleep with our baby teething. So she had us up
Oh,
in the middle of the night. Yeah, I'm sure that's something you know all about. Probably don't miss it.
yeah. No.
But yeah, that was my weekend. Didn't do much really. You don't want to be out and about, especially with the weather. It was storming a lot in Joburg this past weekend. So yeah, we were just indoors. Your side?
Yeah, no, not too bad. We also had a bit of a windy weekend, but other than that, everything was as good as it could possibly be. Luckily, our kids this weekend they were with their grandparents, so not too much
Mm,
stress for us, not too many issues for us. So that's one of the perks of living in Cape Town again. So we have our family close by.
nice. Were you planning
Yeah.
any siblings?
Sorry.
Were you planning any siblings?
No, we are no. There will be no more siblings. Only cousins. No,
Okay,
don't want any more. Don't want any more children. Thank you very much. We have settled on two, and that's good enough for us.
still
That
a
is
long way
fine.
to go. They're gonna have to find a good few players to make a five-a-side team.
No, we got what's it now in the family? Two, four, six. So a total of six kids in the family with all the cousins. So no, we're okay.
Okay, nice.
We're all right. Busy weekend this weekend, Chad. A lot going on
Yeah,
in the football scene around the world.
yeah, straight into business. Obviously, big talking point is our PSL gloriously, having a walkover. Um, Always, in the thick of drama here in South Africa. Last time with the Ghana Bafana game, which has also reached an outcome, by the way. And then obviously, yeah,
Yes.
some good fixtures. Sundowns still pegged back a bit, still no defeat though. And then going abroad, obviously, Liverpool marching on, City marching on. Yeah, some nice results in the Premier League. Stephen G getting one over his former manager Brendan Rodgers,
Yes.
and then obviously over to La Liga, where my team
Oh,
wasn't. Yeah, jeez.
panic stations there with two teams in particular, but we'll have a look at that just now. But I mean, going straight into the DStv Premiership, straight up off the bat, Amazulu take on Royal AM again. Like we spoke about this the
Coincident.
last time. Royal AM obviously wanting to try and stay up the table, nothing to
Mm.
lose, and Amazulu just in the end trying to get back on the winning streek, but
Yeah,
struggling at it.
yeah, it's obviously it's very good save to deny De Jong there, and he proved to be a bit of a nightmare for Royal AM's defense. But yeah, just not getting the ball into the back of the net, and there's not much you can blame Benny for here. They had all the chances. They enjoyed a
Yeah.
lot of possession and everything, so they played well, but just not getting the ball. I mean, yes, I'm sure Benny must have been like, I needed to be on the pitch today to show these guys how to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard fought draw there for Royal AM. They obviously, in a nice position, so they won't mind taking a point from this game. Also at Amazulu's home ground. So yeah, it's a good point for Royal AM. But yeah, Benny, I think it's 9 draws now in the 14 games they've played so far, which is it does point to a bit of a struggle there, and questions will soon be coming with regards to his future at the club, and whether he's under any pressure of any sorts,
Yeah.
especially with the bar they set last season.
Yeah, I mean, might we say that the season they are a bit of a draw specialist? I know SuperSport likes to look at themselves as a cup specialist, but now we have Amazulu who seem to be a draw specialist. And look, they haven't lost that many games actually. They just haven't managed to win all the games that they should have. They've gotten draws which could have been wins, or maybe they've gotten draws which could have been losses also. So at the
Yeah,
end of the day, I think draws aren't too bad a result, but looking at the team they've got, looking at the expectations, they are expected to win most of the time, if not all of the time. So
certainly.
there's definitely going to be pressure around the camp there. But Benny's not one to shy away from the pressure. He's going to jump straight into it, and he's going to pull everyone along with him. So it will be
Yeah,
interesting to see that if they do manage to get out of it now in December, see if they do manage to keep moving up the table, get a couple of wins and things like that. So
yeah, yeah. We've
yeah,
been speaking about it for a while, so I think
yeah,
time is running out for him to turn things around. Especially like you've alluded, the expectation he created with last season's performance obviously sets the bar quite high for him, and at the moment he's just not delivering. I don't know if you remember last season he said if they started, or if he started, at the starting line with Sundowns,
yeah,
they could have made more of a title race of it.
yeah,
And now he's actually started on the same at the same time as Sundowns, and yeah, it's very contrasting results this time around. So it just proves that sometimes it's not about starting at the starting line. It's about
yeah.
what you can do and how you make the most of what you have at your disposal. So Sundowns are obviously a well-oiled machine, and the Summer side are just not on par with a team like Sundowns. Definitely not at this stage.
Yeah, and definitely not at the level they were at last season either.
Yeah,
But let's hope they'll get there. I mean, at the end of the day, we always say it is Benny, it is Amazulu, it's his team, and let's see where they go from here. But it's going to be interesting to see from there. But
yeah,
carrying on into Cape Town, came Sundowns into the windy Stellenbosch area, which was howling. I mean, we've had crazy amounts of wind over the weekend, and I think if you can see the boards in the background there, security
barely
guards
standing.
having to hold them in their place also. But
Yeah,
I just left this up here because it's nice to see Robin Johannes starting again. Obviously, he's
back
been
in.
out for quite a while. So, I mean, I was happy for him, and also Granville Scott, who's we've been good mates since our time at Wits.
Yeah,
It's nice to see them getting back on the field again. So I was just
yeah.
happy for them. Save the team sheet just to give my ups to them.
Yeah, it's always nice to see guys, established guys, come back from injury. Um, but yeah, it's on the game. Obviously, a nice and open game. I'd like to think, both teams had a good number of chances, and in the
Yeah,
end, the result also reflects the fact that both sides had their chances and managed to take one each. So of course, it's not like there was one team in this and they dominated completely, and
yeah.
the draw is not a fair reflection. But if you see, great run that by Dupree, I
Yeah,
think
with
it
his
was.
speed, and he's another
Um,
player we've been saying put him in the
yeah,
Bafana squad. Let him cause those
exactly.
problems against the African teams. I'm sure he'll be a
Yeah,
threat to anyone.
yeah, and Mudau just doing the rest there. Uh,
Yeah,
but he did well to go down as well. I think a lot of players, in that situation, especially when you lack experience, you try and pick
yeah,
yourself up instead of playing for the penalty, which he rightfully got, and he did well to win it. And then
yeah,
of course, Lyle Lakay, educated left foot, lovely strike.
yeah. Doing what he
There
does.
was some debate that the wind perhaps helped him there, but I think he knew what he wanted to do and he knew where he wanted to place it. So, the rest, and he's a Cape Town boy, so he knows how to work with the wind. But yeah, Sundowns, I think that's their second consecutive draw now.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit shaky.
They're
Nerves
starting
could
to
start
concede
creeping in.
some goals. They are starting
Yeah.
to concede.
So yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for Sundowns at the moment. They very far from cruise control. But of course, as long as they're not getting beaten, the league is always going to be in their hands. So still a
Yeah.
lot of work for other teams to do.
Yeah, obviously, like just from my side, I'm always going to support the keepers when they need to be supported. I'll always criticize keepers when they need to be criticized because I'm like that myself. But
Mm.
obviously, if you in the video, as you would have seen, like Sundowns having the better opportunities and Sage obviously stepping in for Lee Langeveld, which for me, he's proving that maybe he should have been the one to start in the first place. Obviously, the coach has gone with Lee. But Sage definitely doing his part. And, like he showed, especially against Sundowns, he kept them in the game with 2 early saves and they break
Yeah,
away and they managed to get a goal. So sometimes you have to credit the keepers and the defense also for getting them in a position or putting the team in a position to then go and win the game. Obviously,
yeah.
Sundowns is a team who won't stop coming at you and they're more than likely bound to get a goal eventually. Which they did, but still, I think Sage has been pretty good for Stellenbosch this season so far since he's come in.
Yeah, 100%. And I think just on the goalkeepers, sometimes I mean, if Sundowns were to score an early goal, it could have been a 3-4-0 game
Yeah,
in the end. Whereas if the keeper
yeah,
does come out tops and makes a few good saves early on, that's confidence for him, confidence for his defense, and then it gives
yeah,
his strikers a chance to also take the game to the opponents rather than trying to chase the game, which comes with a lot of pressure. So it's good to have someone like Sage step in when the first choice goalkeeper is not there and give the coach some headaches as well in terms of who does he go
yeah,
with when both are available.
yeah. No, definitely. Well, jumping from windy Cape Town to a very wet and rainy Johannesburg or Pretoria, in that fact. Quite a rough game, this one, in terms of red cards, in terms of Super Sport not able to get the win that they wanted. But as you'll see, very early on in the game, it started up very hectic. Sekakune having a go at Supersport having a go back at Sekakune.
Yeah.
Yeah, two red cards in the
Yes.
very early stages of the games, which will make it tough for any team.
But I think obviously conditions also very tough to play in, and that's I mean a decision like that might not have
Yeah,
been that drastic. That's obviously as a result of the wet turf. You wouldn't go
yeah,
sliding in like that if the pitch was dry, because
yeah,
number one you risk injuring yourself. But on a wet pitch, players are obviously more prone to going down, trying to make those sliding challenges make it look spectacular, and
yeah,
then end up making mistakes because you rarely have full control over yourself when you're sliding all over the pitch. I felt this
yeah,
was very harsh from Victor Gomes. Maybe the replay will make me change my mind, but yeah, I think there's no malice in that. He's going for the ball. He's just a bit late.
yeah,
No studs or anything like that. Cheslin should know better than to have his shin guards down on his ankles.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean it wasn't a career-threatening injury or tackle or anything like that. And I think Victor might have felt the urge to just level things out
yeah,
with that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then
But yeah,
yeah,
well taken goal, of course, to
yeah,
give Sekhukhune the
Sekakune,
win.
yeah,
Excellent
snatching
through
one in the
ball.
end.
Yeah, excellent through ball. Um, Ronwood caught out there, but maybe his defense not doing enough to cover him, obviously. But I think that strike from that angle, Ronwood could have maybe done a little bit better. Or am I being too harsh?
It's hard because for myself as a keeper, when you're in that situation, you wanna close you wanna make sure you have your near post covered. When you have a defender coming in to defend, you gotta hope that he's got the other side covered. So um, I'll put it up there. I'll put it up there again. The goal. Let me just see. Let me see if I can get this back there. So I'll explain to you why I feel that way. So first of all, obviously it's a good through ball played, but you see with Ron when he's taking his position, he's making a slide tackle, and he's just managed to get it over his leg, which
Over,
is which is quite unexpected for a keeper, because as a keeper you want to have that near post covered. So
yeah,
it does catch Ronwin out in the sense that it's gone to the far post a bit. So I wouldn't say much he could do there, because he is expected to cover his near post, because if he scores in the near post, everyone's going to have a go for that. So you
exactly.
just got to, as a keeper, sometimes we do just pray and we hope that somehow your defender's closing that far post and that they aren't able to get it there. In the end, if the defender did make the tackle, they would have said great tackle. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think it's a good finish. There's nothing
yeah, no,
else to it
not
other
taking
than
away
it's a
from the
good finish. Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, that's my view on goalkeepers and things
Yeah,
like that.
a good defense case. I obviously see it from a player's point of view, and I've never been in their shoes. So it's good to have your technical insight on goalkeepers at hand. So, nice one. And apologies to
No,
Ron.
no. Yeah, you PE boys need to support each other, not fight with each other.
No, just honest criticism, and sometimes
Yeah.
I can be too harsh. So
But let's take a look at what's been the talking point in our league at the moment, which obviously is Kaiser
the three
Chiefs.
goals you guys scored.
Yeah, the 3 goals we scored against Kaiser Chiefs, 3 points to us, hopefully. Obviously, with this picture,
Yes.
what this picture shows is, firstly, we were locked outside the stadium. We weren't allowed to get inside. So were the match officials, the referees, and the match commissioner. We still had to run through normal procedure, checking the cards, checking the kit, and obviously, with not being able to get into the stadium, this picture comes from doing it in the bus. So
Yeah.
that, I mean, this is a card check that we did in the bus, and this is. I mean, it's difficult to see where this is going to go, what the
Yeah.
PSL is going to decide with this. I don't know if you have any insight, but at the moment we're just playing the waiting game.
Yeah, I feel quite strongly about what happened. For professional league, like the PSL, well established, excellent structures, awesome, facilities and all that. But things like this just, hamper the image of the entire league. We know, from last week, Thursday, Chiefs released a statement saying they wrote to the PSL about a mass outbreak at the Kaizer Chiefs village,
Yeah,
and obviously players, they weren't immediately available for the game, because when it comes to health and safety, I mean, you can't compromise whether a player is positive or negative, but the mere fact that they were in contact with whoever was positive is obviously a risk factor. So they obviously
yeah,
did the right thing. They took the safe option to write to the PSL and say, look, we can't honor this fixture. Can you please postpone our fixtures? And it's very disappointing and disheartening, especially to football fans, to see that the PSL just remained silent on this whole thing, as if it wasn't a member club that actually wrote to them and lodged a formal request, or at least raised a fear or an issue they were experiencing. And the league was completely silent, no statement to respond, not even acknowledging receipt of that statement. At least bring the fans into confidence to say, we've looked at the request and we've decided there's no merit to your request to postpone the game. I do want to share just a brief view of the rules PSL put out last year. So if I can just put it up there we go, and read it out. The executive committee resolved on the 3rd of August 2020, that's more than 12 months ago, by the way, and directed that COVID-19 reasons do not and will not constitute exceptional reasons justifying a postponement. But just to bring it to everyone's attention, I think the 3rd of August was still when we had the PSL bio bubble. So there were all
Yeah.
these restrictions in place to mitigate, the risk of a mass outbreak. Obviously, players were living hotel guests for however long it was. And players weren't allowed to go out, they weren't allowed to socialize and meet with other people on the outside. No one was coming in, no one was going out. That was excellent, it worked really well. And we obviously managed to see out the remainder of last season and all that. Things have changed. The landscape has changed, especially around the pandemic. As we know, there's a new variant that's come to the fore. And South Africa having been blocked from the rest of the world in terms of travel and all that. So it really means it emphasizes the seriousness of what's going on. And for the PSL to
Yeah.
just throw an outdated rule book at clubs, and we don't even know what happened. I believe John Kamita said the PSL executive did meet. The chairman, obviously, of Cape Town City is on the exco, so they did meet, deliberated, and made a decision that no action will be taken with regards to postponing or anything like that. But then
Yeah.
to not communicate that to the public, or at least
Yeah.
bring the public into confidence to say, okay, this is the situation. Unfortunately, we cannot, make a ruling in favor of Kaizer Chiefs. It'll have to be a walkover. It would have saved Cape Town
Yeah.
City, the traveling costs. It would have saved the embarrassment of people being locked out of the stadium. And then, of course, the fanfare around the fact that, oh, Kaizer Chiefs wrote to the PSL and the PSL didn't say anything. It just brings the
Yeah.
whole entire league and the image of the league into disrepute, which is also a sanctionable offence. So, in all honesty, the PSL Exco should be brought into disrepute and should be charged by the league. But of course, we won't see that happening because all of this is not independently run. At the end of the day, the Exco is our club bosses, and what are the chances of them sanctioning themselves? So, of course, very upsetting to see a brand of the PSL magnitude, especially as the media, as the public, we punt our league, we back it, we give it the titles of, oh, we're one of the top 10 leagues in the world, which is obviously unofficial, but we'd like to think
Yeah.
we're on that level with the top 10 leagues in the world. But when we do things like this, it really shows that, if we're in the top 50, then maybe, we should count ourselves lucky, but really not very professional the way this was handled. And I mean, Cape Town City obviously had to honor the fixture with no cancellation notice or anything, as the rules state, to be on the right side of the law without
Yeah.
having sanctions come their way. So obviously understandable from that point of view, but yeah, we have to see what unfolds. The other talking point around it is that there's also been a new development on the PSL prosecutor side. The Diski Times did a nice story.
Yes, I've
My
seen
former
that.
colleague, Lawrence Koller, obviously PSL prosecutor Nandi Becker resigns. A lot of people will remember him from, the public back and forth between himself and Pizzo. If you can just bring that screen up there, Pops. Yeah. So Nandi Beckers obviously became famous for his public spats with Pitso Masimane around charging him for bringing the league into disrepute, and oftentimes it was debatable, but he's obviously grown in prominence, and he's actually in charge of upholding the PSL rules and whatever is contained in the handbook. So for him, resigning, that obviously leaves a lot, of questions with regards to, okay, what's actually going to happen with this
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs case, because as an
When
independent attorney, he has view of the rules, what it states, and how clubs should act in accordance with those rules. And releasing a formal statement or formal request to the league, should warrant some sort of lenience, or at least some sort of understanding from the league. But who's going to preside over this case now if our prosecutor has stepped down? And once
Yeah.
again, PSL hasn't communicated this. This is Nandi Becker commenting exclusively to Diski Times, which also shows Professional silent league is not really, professional as it should be, because things like these need to be communicated, timelessly, especially if someone as prominent as Nandi Becker resigns, because who oversees all these cases now that are outstanding. It goes back to the one of the Amazulu Marumo Gallants case where there was a kit clash. Those things, warrant sanctions, and who's gonna, make rulings and recommendations to the PSL DC about these cases. So very disappointed with everything that's going on at the offices in Parktown. But hopefully we get to see, some sort of communication going forward.
Yeah, it seems like that Chad Clayton rant was brought to you by Ediski Times. That's Chad's news source. Maybe we'll get them on as a sponsor. they'll
Why
sponsor
not?
us. They'll sponsor us free newspapers.
Yeah, I'd read it, definitely. Some good content on it.
Yeah, that's from your mouth. What's I going to say? Yeah, I mean, obviously, with all those things going on, it leaves us in kind of a difficult situation, both with Cape Town City, both with Kaizer Chiefs, and also with the PSL, who now have even more on their plate than what they've had before. So, in my assumption, it will bring me to more delays, and it's another thing of wondering when it's going to be sorted out, because for me as a player, I want to know where I stand in the league. I want to know, do we get the 3 points? Because before you get to the next game, you want to know what's the situation. Are you 3 points there, or are you 3 points down? What's the story? Simply, let me just get that now, because let me get up the log quickly. Because for me, what's important here is now with us, we've only played 11 games, whereas most other teams have played 13 and 14 games. A couple teams have played 12 games. And if I look at our team, we go from 14 points to 17 points, which brings us, which obviously keeps us in the same position. But then we have Maritzburg tomorrow. With that win, it takes us all the way up to sixth place. So those 3 points play a massive role and a massive difference in our upcoming fixtures also. And now we're going to have to wait for that. We'll have to rely on the outcome of the league's decision and things like that. So, I mean, all in all, it does make it difficult for clubs and for players.
Yeah, and it's not cut and dried either. The league can rule on it. The PSL DC can rule in Cape Town City's favor, and then Chiefs will obviously challenge this with arbitration. And when it goes that route, there's all sorts of other legal implications, and it could be dragged on for months and months.
Yeah.
And then we see a case of one of the clubs, at risk of either missing out on a CAF spot, missing out on top 8, or possibly dropping into the relegation zone, because there was always this uncertainty about whether they had the points, whether they didn't have the points, whose points is it anyway, and it just leaves a really bitter taste, and it has a long arm that extends to a long length of time, that we have this uncertainty hanging over 3 points between two teams. So definitely not a very good look on the PSL, and Chiefs is not going to take this laying down as well.
No, but let's hope it gets resolved sooner rather than later. I mean, might as well let's just jump straight through to the results now. Then obviously with that, our game will not feature on this section because we didn't play, but. Two games that weren't shown on TV, which we don't have the highlights for, is your Golden Arrows beating Chipper United away, which obviously for me it's a good result for Golden Arrows. Tough time for Chipper United continues.
Yeah. Kurt Lenke is also getting his first defeat, if I'm not mistaken. So that's obviously already put pressure on him, because we know Chipper are quite trigger happy. So if results don't continue going his way, he's obviously going to find himself in a bit of a spot of bother.
Yeah. And then the Swallows game, obviously not a bad result for Swallows, 1-1 with Dylan Kerr. I think he was in charge for that game. if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think he was. His work permit issue was sorted quite quickly,
Yeah,
and I think obviously they were 1-0 down, if I'm not mistaken, for much of that game, and managed to pull it back. So I'm sure his halftime team talk at best. If he wasn't allowed on the bench, he would have been in the
yeah,
dressing room at halftime
yeah,
to give his guys a pep talk. So that obviously helped, and
yeah,
I think it was a drastically different lineup. So already you're seeing the impact of the new coach coming in, making the necessary
yeah,
changes, and that obviously paying dividends in the fact that they got a result. Well, not a result, but at least managed to
yeah,
scrape a draw out of a game that they could have actually gone on and lost.
yeah. Moving onto the log quickly. I know I just jumped ahead to the log earlier, but if we have another look at the log, I mean, Sekakune jumping to the top, well, to
Yeah,
second. I mean, to the top of everyone else.
yeah,
They're sitting pretty in second there with 23 points, and Royal AM just behind them with 22 points. Still a good showing. We spoke about it week after week. Still a good showing for both teams. Um, Obviously, they've been fighting. They've been going on that, like we said. Also, they're not gonna be afraid to take on anyone. They're gonna go all guns blazing, and they've still managed to keep doing that. So.
yeah,
Swallows still
yeah.
stuck at the
It's
bottom with nine. Sorry, Swallows still stuck at the bottom with 9 points with them. Galaxy and Barocca. Chipper 1 point ahead on 10. So it is quite tight there. One win for either team gets them straight out of that situation.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's that's what we want to see is teams going at it. And, any result not going your way could see you dropping into the danger zone. And,
Yeah,
that keeps us definitely excited and keeps teams on their toes. So it's good to see that at least one end of the table is more competitive than the other. Because
yeah,
obviously at the top end, an 8 point gap at this stage of the season, it's hard to see guys catching up to Sundowns and making a real
yeah,
challenge for the league.
yeah. It's gonna be. I think it's yeah. There'll be a lot to be desired if it is to be a close one. We'll need a couple teams to beat Sundowns for the rest of us over there.
Yeah,
Fixtures for this coming week. Obviously, 2 games tomorrow, then the rest all get played on Wednesday.
yeah, it's jam packed week, full
Yeah,
roster of fixtures, so should be exciting. Obviously, one that stands out is whether Royal AM could perhaps be the team to knock Sundowns
yeah,
off their perch. I think
yeah,
that's their first meeting ever between the two sides, so they could maybe upset the apple cart with given their form and their knack for beating the bigger guns. But yeah,
yeah,
I think all round an exciting round of fixtures. Zulu Pirates should be a good one as well. Benny obviously
yeah,
going up against his former team. So yeah, that should be exciting. And then Barocca Swallows, that's direct implication on that bottom three. Either a win for either team there could be massive, and I think
yeah.
both of them will be going for it. So that should be an exciting one as well.
I think what stands out for me is the Golden Arrows hosting Chiefs. I don't know which Chiefs they're going to be hosting, but at the moment, it looks like they'll just be having a practice game as far as things are concerned. Um,
Yeah,
but who
but you never
knows? Who
know.
knows?
Yeah, Chiefs could have been shaken in their boots by the fact that things continued as usual on Saturday, and everything. Well, no communication came from the PSL, and I'm sure they fear the risk of losing points. So
Yeah,
I don't see them standing down again, and possibly putting players at risk could be on the cards here. And that's another concern is that okay, COVID-19 is not sufficient reason to postpone a game, but if players are positive and a club is desperate for points, or not giving away 3 points for free,
yeah,
you're basically telling them, well, those guys who are positive need to get on the pitch
yeah,
and play the game. Spreading the virus everywhere else in the league, and more players getting sick them taking it home to their families and making them sick. So there's definitely, some sort of devastating effect on the cards here if the PSL don't come out and make a decision on what's happening at the Chiefs. And I'm sure they're not the only club that are affected by what's happening with the pandemic.
Yeah.
I know a couple of guys have tested positive at Pirates as well. Perhaps not as
Oh,
many as Chiefs, but obviously teams could get affected heavily by this Omicron variant that seems more transmissible, according to science. So I don't know what the league expects in this situation, but I definitely don't think it's wise to force teams to put a team out if they don't have enough
no.
players to put on the team sheet.
Especially with traveling and things like that. I mean, if you're forcing teams to travel and push teams to fly across the country for a game, still, I mean, still at this day, someone might feel fine. They might feel okay, but they might have the COVID or something like that, and they're traveling, and it just ends up spreading quicker. So
Yeah,
it's a hard one. It's a
and
hard one to be able to take care of. I mean, even with us traveling to Joburg now recently, again, you're traveling all the way there for nothing, and you're putting yourselves at risk. Like you said, you're putting your families at risk when you come home again.
yeah,
So let's hope
and
something does get put under control. But
yeah, and it's
nice to
with the
see.
symptoms. Sorry, just before you move on, with the symptoms, I mean,
Yeah,
it could be flu-like, but we all know,
yeah,
footballers are strongly advised against playing when they have the flu. So even if you have,
exactly.
blocked nose and stuff, you could collapse because your heart could stop beating or whatever the case is. So
Yeah,
it's a massive health risk. And what is the message they're sending out to the public that, oh, even if you have COVID, you can still go to work,
yeah,
because you need to be at work. You're not getting sick leave if your sick leave is all used up and all that. So the messaging to the public is also shocking from the
yeah.
PSL with regards to how they're handling this.
Yeah. But nice to see, just again, nice to see night football making a return. So, I mean,
Mm.
we're playing under lights, which is nice against
Yeah,
Maritzburg. And then obviously, well, the hopefully Chiefs game against Arrows is under lights. So it's nice to see that again. I think we've missed night football. It's been a while.
yeah, no, for sure. It's always more enjoyable. We know, with some dew on the pitch, the football we
Yeah.
see can be a lot more entertaining. Some carpet football, and then it makes it a bit more challenging for the goalkeepers, of course, having to play under
No,
the floodlights
I
on a wet
enjoy it.
pitch.
I love it.
Some I'm sure some goalkeepers beg to differ in terms of having to anticipate skidding balls and rocket shots coming into you.
No, that's what makes it easier, because the bounce is true. When the ball skids off the grass, it's gonna come true to you. It's not gonna take a funny bobble or get stuck or hook in the grass or something like that. So no, I prefer the wet grass. I love the rain under lights. That's my game. Um,
All right.
let's move on quickly. Geez, we've spoken so much about the PSL, we almost forgot about the English Premier League at the moment. But just to run through those results quickly.
Yeah, nice
So
one
a
for
couple,
Stevie G.
yeah, a couple upsets there, definitely.
Aston Villa, yeah, beating Leicester last night. Was a nice game actually to watch. Some good football being played by both sides, but obviously, Stevie G's really growing in leaps and bounds in his managerial career. So it's always nice to see former players doing well as coaches, and showing that not all footballers are dumb. But yeah, it's obviously some other nice results also. United getting a win over Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace. A lucky one,
Yes,
if I might add, in the
no problem.
87th minute
3 points.
there. And then obviously Antonio Conte also getting the results there with Spurs over Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday's results. What did you make of those?
Well, Liverpool's result, Man City's result was quite expected. Most wouldn't argue about that. But I like, obviously, the ones for me, the important ones is Newcastle getting a win under their new owners, finally
Yeah,
making
yeah,
making some headway to get out of the relegation zone. And then West Ham beating Chelsea. I think that was
David Moyes definitely, showing that he's not the bad manager everyone saw in him at Man United. So
no.
it's good to see him picking himself up and showing his muscle with West Ham. West Ham is obviously they've really become a formidable team over the past 2 seasons. I think they are bringing some good results, some surprises on the big guns, and really putting up a fight in the Premier League now.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I just got the log. I've only got up to 16th place. I didn't fit the whole log in the screen, but I just wanted to have a look at the top the top section quickly with West Ham making a nice move up there into fourth place, which is, I mean, West Ham fighting for Champions League. It's not something you see every day.
Not at all.
And obviously Chelsea dropping down to third. So a lot going on there at the moment.
Yeah, so that was a massive result. Obviously, West Ham beating them. They were top for quite a while, and to be overtaken by both Liverpool and Man City definitely has some serious implications on the title race. And I'm sure a lot of those players would have dropped a bit in terms of their level of belief and in terms of the title race and going on to win it. But early days in the Premier League, obviously still another, what is that, 23 games to play.
23, yeah.
So it's not, it's still far from over. But we know the force Man City and Liverpool have been in recent seasons. So obviously with Chelsea not having contested as much as the other two, they should feel a bit of weight on their shoulders now that the big two have moved into their rightful places on the table in terms of challenging for title honors.
Yeah, I think after this, there's no week fixtures this week with that, but I think after the weekend's fixtures, we'll see some more movement again.
There is Arsenal playing tonight.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't I see that? I didn't see that.
So yeah, Arsenal are up against.
Did I?
I think Everton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I did see it. I missed that one. Yeah, Arsenal Everton.
So it's a big game.
We spoke about Rafa Benitez. Yeah, we spoke about Rafa the last time. Another one for him. He needs to fix.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Mourinho's been linked to Everton.
Really? Oh, that'll be nice.
Mourinho back in the Premier League is something to look forward to as well.
Always exciting. He's a little bit out in the cold in Italy at the moment, isn't he? I mean, Roma, it's not as well followed as most of the Premier League is. So you don't really hear too much. You see him here and there, but he's a little bit out of the picture.
Yeah.
So let's get him back into the picture. Moving into your league, your team's league at the moment. I have no idea. Hopefully, you can explain to us what's going on over in La Liga.
Look, I'm not sure what's happening, but it's inevitable that a new manager. He came in and found Barcelona in a really difficult space. So Xavi will obviously take some time, and this loss will definitely give him a lot to ponder on and plan for. He has a much clearer idea of what's actually happening internally now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll try and mitigate any risk of such defeats or too many of such defeats happening in the future. But it is obviously a rebuilding phase, and you can't really be surprised. What's really not comfortable is to see Barcelona in seventh position on the log table. So that's definitely something the club need to change drastically, because the image on them is not very strong. Real Madrid obviously running away with it, 8 points clear. It's really their league to lose now, because Atletico have also fallen back after they suffered a defeat as well. So it's interesting times in La Liga to an extent, because obviously Real Madrid are still there, and that doesn't look like any new league winners or league title challenges could come to the fore.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's such a tough league to follow, such a tough league to. I mean, in terms of with the teams that are there at the moment, teams like Real Betis doing well, who you never really expect them to do well. I saw, who was it?
Yeah,
Espanyol somewhere around there, also competing with the Barcelona and stuff like that, which never really happened. So
yeah.
it's one of those things at the moment that we'll see. We'll have to see how it goes if anyone can catch Real Madrid.
Winds of change is good. It would be nice to see
Yeah,
Barca and Real Madrid struggling at some point. I mean, we've seen it
yeah,
in recent years in the PSL with Chiefs and Pirates, who used to dominate in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, struggling and going through their rough patches. And I think something like that would be healthy for La Liga and just bring a bit more attention to the league and what other clubs can offer rather than just
yeah.
the two big prominent European giants.
Yeah, I mean, seems like we'll try and stay more up to date with those leagues. The DStv Premiership, the English Premier League, and La Liga. Those are obviously the two big leagues at the moment in Europe, and then obviously with us being in South Africa, playing in South Africa, we'll always follow the DStv Premiership. That is. But other than
100%.
that, Chad, it's been another good one. Been nice. I think next time we'll try and get someone to join us.
A
Either a
guest.
player, yeah, a guest, either a player or a coach, or maybe a club owner, maybe a referee. Who knows? We'll try and figure it out and see where we go from there. But
Yeah, I think if anyone has any suggestions, I think they can always pop it in the comments below, and
no, we
we'll try.
always, yeah, exactly. We always want people to let us know. And I mean, on that note, if you have enjoyed this, if you do enjoy our show, please again subscribe, like us, comment below or above wherever you want to comment. Just comment. If you want to write on the screen, write on the screen, no problem. But we need your guys' support. We want your support so that we can carry on bringing you hopefully the content that you enjoy. So, Chad, again from my side, thanks very much. Appreciate it. And hopefully everyone enjoyed the show. And we'll definitely be back.
Wonderful. Have a good week.
You too. Have a good week, everyone. Cheers.